Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to talk about the siege and famine of Samaria. It is found in the last part of Second Kings 6 and then all of Second Kings 7. So, what is going on? We find out that the king of Aram, Hadad, he has come back to Samaria and he lays siege to the city. So not only does he lay siege to the city, but there is a famine as well. So things are really, really bad. And the Bible gives us some examples of how badly things are going. So, for example, it says dove stung, so like dove bird poop. Some people argue, oh, that's just another name for seeds. Could be either way. It's not a lot of food, not very nutritious. So about I believe a quarter, let me double check my facts here for you. So about a quarter of a pound would cost about 5 shekels, and that is about the equivalent, the 5 shekels is about the equivalent of what somebody would make in about 6 months, like an average person. And then it was saying that they were selling and eating donkeys' heads, and that those would go for, I believe, about 80 shekels of silver. So crazy amount, right? And here's the other thing you need to understand. So even during during a siege, they're obviously being careful with their supplies, right? And so they're not going to want to get rid of something that's expensive and valuable like a donkey. And during a famine, even during a famine, you wouldn't want to get rid of that. Documentation show that people would eat like their animal's food before they would actually eat their animal. And things would have to get so desperate that the animals were emaciated and dying that they would actually eat the animal at that point. And then, the donkey's head, that's like not a normal thing that you would eat. So things are bad. So if you think things are bad at the grocery store right now, just remember it's not Second Kings bad. Okay? So anyway, so things are bad, and the king's walking around his city, checking it out, and this woman comes crying up to the king, and she's like, "Help me!" And he's like, "How can I help you? Like God hasn't helped us. Like I don't. You go pray." And she's like, "No, you don't understand. We're just so hungry that my neighbor and I came up with this plan that we would eat our child, each of our children." But she talked me into doing mine first. So we ate my son last night, and now she's hidden her child, and it's not fair. And the king is just like, oh, and he's just like, he can't even wrap his brain around this, right? And he starts like crying and tearing his robes, and he's just like, and so he's like, I'm going to kill Elisha, the prophet. Somebody go get him and bring him here. I'm going to kill him. Now it seems a little extreme, right? Like, why are you killing the prophet? But you gotta remember, like, to him, the prophet is a representation of God. And God isn't hearing his cries. And so he's like, he's angry. He's angry at God. So the men go off to go get Elisha, and Elisha knows they're coming. And he tells the servant, he's like, hey, lock that door. Lock that door. People are coming to kill me. So he's like, go lock the door. People are coming to kill me. And sure enough, people were coming to kill him. So Elisha tells, and the king had been following. So Elisha tells the king, he's like, listen, it's going to be okay. He said, by this time tomorrow, he's like the best type of flour, it's going to sell for, let me give you a good idea there. So it's going to sell for like over 20 pounds for only a shekel. Okay? And so, and barley, 2 pounds of barley, or 40 pounds of barley, a shekel. Everything's going to be okay. And so basically it's like his bodyguard. So the bodyguard, or like the armor bearer, sorry, of the king just laughs, and he's like, that's not even possible. He's like, even if God opened up the floodgates of heaven right now and it just started pouring rain, it's not even possible. Like, you're a fool. And so Elisha says to him, he's like, well, here's the deal. You're going to see it with your eyes, but you won't get to touch or taste any of it for your lack of faith, right? Pretty intense. So the story stops right there about that part. And then in verse 3, it's a lot to happen, just, right? So in verse 3, chapter 7, verse 3, we are told there are 4 lepers. And so and lepers have to be outside the city, right? Because it's contagious, all that stuff. So the 4 lepers are outside the city gates. So if things are bad inside the city, think how badly they're going outside the city. And so the lepers say, you know what? We're obviously going to die. So why should we just sit here and wait to die? Let's go to the Samaritan camp, the army camp, and go see if they'll have pity on us and give us food. And if they kill us, well, we're going to die anyway. Like, might as well try something. So they start making their way to the Samaritan camp. Now, I mean, leprosy is a horrible disease. I mean, they're probably missing limbs. They're not going really fast because they're really in pain. But when they come upon the camp, God makes it so that the Samaritans hear like warriors and chariots and a huge army. It makes it sound like that. The ground shaking, coming to the Samaritan camp. So the Samaritans freak out and they're like, oh, the Israelites must have hired like the Hittites and the Egyptian armies to come help them. And we're going to die. So they drop everything, they leave everything, and they just run for their lives, right? So when the lepers get there, they're like, it's really quiet. And now this is in the middle of the night. Sorry, side note. So this is in the middle of the night. So they go into the camp, they go into a tent, and it's empty, but there's food and drink, so they sit and eat and drink, and they start taking the silver and the clothes. They go into a couple other tents. And then after a bit, they're like, you know what? This is not right. Like, we can't afford this for ourselves. Like, all of our people are dying. We need to go let them know. And we need to go let them know now. Like, it would still be wrong just to wait. Just going to wait until the day. Right? And so here's kind of an interesting fact, too, because, like, these people are, like, outcast from their city, from their people. I mean, more than likely, they were not treated well by the Israelites. People would have thrown rocks at them, or whatever, like, get away from me. More than social distancing going on this part, right? So, I mean, that's really kind and generous of them. So they go back and they go to the gate and they start yelling at the gate. They're like, "Hey, the Samaritans have, or I'm sorry, the Armenians have left," and the Armenians have left, and they left all their stuff. It's like there for the taking. And so the word gets back to the king in the palace. So he gets up and he's like, what is going on? So they tell him, and he's like, I think it's a trap. And this was a pretty common war tactic. Sometimes when like a city was being besieged, the besiegers would leave or pretend to leave so that the army that was within the city walls would come out, right, thinking it was safe, and then they would ambush them. And then that way it would end the siege, and they'd win. So the king's like, this might be what's going on. And so some of his captains and counselors are like, it could be, but you know what? We are all dying. So it's worth to go check out anyways, because either we're going to die in here or we're going to die out there. We have about 5 horses that we think we can round up to send out with some chariots. Okay, and so the Bible says that 5. They found 5. So they get some guys together, hook them up some chariots, and they go out to where the Armenians were camped, and they're like, yeah, they're gone. And so They're completely gone. In fact, it said like along the road, like while the Armenians had been running, they had been like still like getting rid of stuff so that they could run even faster. So they saw like still like a slew of like clothing and food and everything just along the road. So they come back and they're like, "King, yeah, it's as it is." So the people run out and they go and plunder this camp, right? That has all the goods. Now, the king had set at the gate to try to like control the people. The army guy, the captain, his armor bearer, who had mocked Elisha, he sets him at the gate to try to keep control. But the people are so hungry and so excited that they literally trample him to death to get to the food. And so the prophecy came about. Man got to see it, but he never got to taste it or touch it. And it tells us that even the amounts that Elisha said that everything would sell for, sold for. So I don't know. I've always liked this story. I'm a little twisted. I don't like that the guy gets trampled and everything like that. But I love the hope in this story. The hope in the story and like the lepers, right? You were like, what? It can't get any worse. Let's see what we can do. So